I want to ask about this crystal vibe, right? A lot of people speak about crystals. A lot of people wear crystals. In my experience, most people don't clearly understand why they wear it. It's more a fashion trend. Can you please explain what are crystals?
Uh, my definition of crystals, just being a biochemist, studying organic matter or what they would call organic or inorganic material. A crystal is a organic solid material that have fractal patterns eternally within itself. Meaning it can be a mineral, it can be glass, it can come from any elements, but inside of it, the atoms are highly, highly, highly organized where they reflect themselves and have basically a fractal that constantly repeats itself. That's a crystal. And the reason why crystals are so important to our body is because not only do our body synthesize crystals called liquid crystals or liquid crystallines, we actually have it within inside of our molecular structure. And inside your brain, you have like trillions of what you would call magnetite crystals. Then around each different cells, it's called the skeleton of the cell. Even inside of our cytoplasma, you have something called cholesterol, LDL cholesterol and HDL cholesterol. When these things mix with mucus around the cells, they form something called liquid crystals. And all crystals it's these organic patterns that act as receptors and antennas to your outside environment. So your skin acts as a receptor where it scans the environment and it brings signals back to the environment, and it tells your molecular structure how to change to interact with the environment. Well, what this signal is interacting with, not only is it interacting with the environment, but when it brings the signal back, it brings the signal to the actual liquid crystals, and the liquid crystals actually go through something called DNA methylation, where DNA methylation changes the genome, and this changes how you interact with your environment. So crystals are amazing. And not only that, crystals are powerful because they actually operate at a certain frequency. They call it microhertz, and your body and your cells have certain microhertz to them. If you look at the volts of each individual cell in your body, the body consists of 150 trillion cells. These cells have a 0.07 volt that's actually megawatt volt that's coming from them. This is actually electrified or magnified by the actual liquid crystals inside the body. So crystals are amazing. Your body is made of crystals, cell phones are made of crystals, computers are made of crystals. This new nanotechnology that they're using for televisions is made of crystals. The very camera, the glass in there, these are crystals. So without crystals, you really can't function properly, because crystals actually magnify and it's a receptor to the electrical magnetic grid of the earth. So crystals are very important, and crystal work is important too.
What advice would you give to someone choosing the proper crystals for them?
You have to go by feel. Now, you do have different types of tests where you can test the crystals and you can test the microhertz on those, but a lot of people, they're not accessible to a lot of people. So what you can do is go by how you feel. We know that energy and motion, or what you call emotions, is based off the chemical exchanges within our body or within our molecular structures, right? So the best thing to do to see if a crystal works for you or not is grab the crystal. If your microhertz go down, that means it's a bad crystal for you. If your microhertz or your energetic field go up, that means it's good for you. But there have been tests shown that, you can get a crystal and they take them to these test rooms or these test sites, and inflammation will increase because the crystal is too energetic, or it'll be too low and it'll drain them from all their energy. So I say just trust your body, trust your electrical magnetic grid of your body, trust your own energy, emotions, or what we call emotions, and test the crystal. Keep it on you. And the beautiful thing about crystals, you don't have to have it right against your skin, because it's all working off of signals in the biofield, or what we call the electrical magnetic grid. This is a grid that permeates outside of our body the same way it permeates outside of the earth. So get around a crystal, always stay within 6 feet of the crystal, and then you got to be silent your mind, silent the noises around you, and feel how your body feel. If your body feel good, if your body feel in balance, if it feel in homeostasis, that's a good crystal to use. Mine is quartz. Clear quartz is amazing with me. Amethyst works amazing with me. Rose quartz works amazing with me. Obsidians do not work good with me though. Whenever I get around an obsidian, I feel lower and hurts. I feel like it's draining my energy. So I tend to don't even be around those. So it's about trusting in you, trusting your feelings, trusting your gut instinct, and trusting your own molecular bioelectrical grid of your own body.
And can you elaborate what it means when you said it works good for you so people know?
So it works good for me in the sense it keeps me balanced. It clears a lot of traumatic experience. It silences my thoughts. I mean, I'm into information. I speak to thousands of people monthly, so I'm traveling. So I still get self-doubt a lot too. So, one of my exercises or one of the tools or utensils that I pull out my spiritual tool bag will be the crystals. So it helps me deal with, what would I say? It helps me deal with my own thoughts. And it's healing too, though. Crystals, or it's been tested. There's plenty. It's about 1,300 different peer-reviewed science papers. There's 1,300 of them. These things was figured out in 1992. Is when they start really figuring out the body and start figuring out that the actual, meridian pathways of the body exist. It was 2 French scientists that they injected the body. It was an Indian yogi and it was a Ayurvedic yogi, and they came together and they was proving that, chakras exist. They was proving that the electrical magnetic grid of the body exists, and it was proven that you have something called meridian pathways. They actually, at some of the points, these acupuncture points, they ejected this radioactive fluid. And when they ejected this fluid, it actually mapped out the body, just like the ancient Indians and the ancient Chinese have been talking about for thousands and thousands of years. And they literally put radioactive fluid in there and they traced it out, and it showed all the meridian points. It showed all the lymphatic neurological points, and it showed the whole pathway of how this energy just flows through the body. Now, what's crazy is all of these energy points met in 7 centers of the body. And these 7 centers are what you'll call the chakras, or we'll call the endocrine system. So we can't even play like these are spookism or that it don't exist. They exist. Clinical trials show it. There's over 1,300 peer-reviewed science papers that talks about this. Talk about what they used to do it with. Talked about the injection, the radioactive fluid that they did, and everything. And it was exactly how the so-called Chinese took that, because of course it all came from our people. But the Chinese, it was handed down to the Chinese. And the crazy thing, I want to say this real quick. It's funny how everybody else around us took our knowledge and preserved it, but we threw our knowledge away. So, whenever you start hearing about these ancient people that's been talking about stuff for 2,000 to 4,000 years ago, if you do your deep research, it all come back to a melanated aboriginal of that particular continent. So they got this information from, Kemet, thousands of years ago. The Chinese just never did. They never perverted the knowledge, or they never got rid of it. And now it's coming up that it's true. So 4,000 years of research, 4,000 years of them talking about chakras, them talking about crystals, them talking about the meridian pathways has now been proven. It was proven in 1992 by 2 French scientists that the meridians actually exist. These pathways that move energy in the body actually exist. Crystals, whether we're talking about magnetites or whether we're talking about calcite. Yeah, calcite, which is another crystal that reacts in the body. These are synthesized by the own body glandular highway. Right, magnetites, calcites, or whether you're talking about cholesterol, HDL cholesterol or LDL cholesterol, these liquid crystals all interact with your body off of magnetic hertz and frequencies and interact with other organic or inorganic material around you.